Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the hidden stories in corporate filings. Today we are diving deep into Regentis Biomaterials Ltd's latest annual report. And let me tell you, there are some wild swings happening here. You do not want to miss this. Alright, so Regentis Biomaterials is in the business of regenerative medicine, specifically focusing on tissue repair. Their lead product is called Gelrink, an implant for knee cartilage injuries. They got a CE mark in Europe back in 2017 and are aiming for us Food and Drug Administration, or FDA approval. Sounds promising, right? Well, let's see what the numbers say. First off, let's look at their direct bottom line. For the year ended the 31st of December 2025, they reported a net loss of over $13.6 million. Now, that sounds bad, but compare that to 2024 when they actually had a net income of almost $4.8 million. This is a massive swing from making money to losing a lot of money. What caused this? Well, their general and administrative expenses absolutely exploded. These costs jumped from just over $700,000 in 2024 to a staggering $6.6 million in 2025. That is an increase of nearly 832%. The report mentions this surge is mainly due to non-cash share-based compensation expenses, including option grants to their top brass, so they are spending a lot more on their own people and their compensation packages. Now add to that their financial situation. In 2024, they reported almost $3.9 million in financial income, which sounds good, right? But in 2025, that flipped to a financial expense of nearly $6.7 million. This is a huge swing of over $10.5 million. The report attributes this big change to things like how they value their convertible notes and warrant liabilities. Basically, the perceived value of these financial instruments went down significantly, leading to a big expense hit. Let us look at where they stand overall. In 2024, their total assets were less than $500,000. Fast forward to December of 2025, and it jumped to over $7.6 million. This massive increase is mainly because of the cash they brought in from their initial public offering, or IPO. In December 2025, they raised about $10 million gross. That influx of cash is a lifeline, especially considering their operating losses. Speaking of cash, their cash and cash equivalents went from a mere $229,000 at the end of 2024 to over $7.3 million by the end of 2025. This shows how critical that IPO was for their survival. They are now saying this cash should keep them afloat until February of 2027. Interestingly, all their preferred shares, which were worth a significant amount in previous years, have been converted into ordinary shares. This happened because of the IPO. Total temporary equity, which represented these preferred shares, went from over $35 million in 2024 down to zero in 2025. This is a massive structural change in how the company is financed, and all those preferred shares converted into a huge number of ordinary shares. They went from having about 162,000 ordinary shares outstanding at the end of 2024 to over 5.1 million ordinary shares by the end of 2025. This is a direct result of the conversions and their IPO. Now let's talk about the people running the show. Ehud Gellar, the chairman and chief executive officer, is a significant figure. He is set to devote about 50% of his time to the company. The compensation disclosures show he received a considerable chunk of share-based compensation, totaling nearly $3.8 million for options granted. That is on top of a structured salary. Looking at who owns the company, some big players are involved. Hystera Scientific Fund, ILP, holds over 11.9% of ordinary shares. Ocorian Fund Management SRL holds 5.7% and SCP Vitalife Partners STEG, LP holds 5.3%. These are substantial stakes, indicating significant financial backing. Now, no corporate filing is complete without a healthy dose of risk. Regentis Biomaterials lists a whole range of potential problems. They could fail to develop their product, face clinical trial failures, run out of money, or be unable to compete. A major concern is their limited operating history and the fact that they have incurred significant losses since they started. It is clear they are still very much in the startup phase, and despite the IPO, the going concern warning in their auditor's report is a stark reminder of their financial precariousness. A unique risk they highlight is the impact of geopolitical events in Israel, where their headquarters and research are located. They specifically mention the ongoing conflicts and the potential for disruptions which could negatively affect their operations and supply chains. This is a significant factor that impacts many Israeli companies, and it adds another layer of uncertainty. They also warn about cybersecurity risks, an increasingly common concern for all companies. They have policies in place, but a breach could disrupt their data, their research, and even reputational damage. Their reliance on outside companies for manufacturing and clinical trials is also a big risk. If these partners fail to deliver quality work or meet deadlines, the company itself could face delays, increased costs, or even product rejection. This statement is a big red flag. It means their auditors are concerned that the company might not be able to stay in business. This could make it very hard to get more money to operate or grow, which is exactly what they need to do to get Gelling to market. Let's be blunt. This company has a history of losing money year after year. The only exception was 2024, thanks to a one-time grant and some accounting adjustments. But this past year, 2025, they are back to substantial losses. It shows the path to profitability is long and uncertain. Digging into the balance sheet, we see the impact of that IPO dramatically. Total assets jumped from less than $500,000 in 2024 to over $7.6 million in 2025. Their liabilities also went down, largely because of the conversion of those preferred shares and notes. It signals a financial restructuring ahead of going public. Looking at the profitability per S-hair, the picture is also quite volatile. In 2023, a loss of over $24 per S-hair. In 2024, a gain of $1.72 per S-hair. Then in 2025, back to a loss of almost $24.16 per S-hair. This wild ride indicates significant financial ups and downs, likely tied to their funding rounds and operational stage. So, what is the big picture here? Regentis Biomaterials is a company with a potentially groundbreaking product, Gelling, but it is still in development. The IPO has given them a much-needed cash injection. But the path forward is fraught with risks. They are heavily reliant on third parties, face intense competition, and have a history of losses. The surge in administrative costs and the volatile financial performance are areas to watch closely. Their future hinges on successfully navigating the regulatory hurdles for Gelling and finding the right partners to bring it to market. The geopolitical risks in Israel also add a unique layer of complexity. What do you think about Regentis Biomaterials' strategy and their financial health? Do they have what it takes to make Gelling a success? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to Corporate Decoder for more of these deep dives, and join our Discord community, linked in the description, to keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.